Greetings, Guardians. My name is Bife here, and lo and behold, I promise I am actually doing the homework that was set to me by Dato in the previous vault cleaning video. I do indeed have proof of me using that Fatebringer that was pointed out, and I promise I've also done the one game with the Scout Rifle, and I've even reduced my vault space down to 400 slots. So, yay! My problem's not completely fixed. But you know, it's getting a little better. Certainly okay. Now, this video is not really talking about like an update on any of that stuff. This is more an update about what's going on the channel and what you can expect between now and Witch Queen. There was a previous update a few months ago where I tried to put out a very ambitious content schedule, and then things promptly fell off the rails. Long story short, things are okay, but I am moving. That's going to immediately throw some alarm bells in there, but genuinely it is just so we can get in a better place, where it's more effective for both myself and my wife to actually go ahead and work, just so we're ready for the busy seasons that are soon to come. I've got Witch Queen coming up. After that, she has GCX coming up and all the preparation for that. So, you know, we're trying to make sure that we're in a good place for all those things, and, you know, it's also nice just to have a better place. Needless to say, there is content that was missed out of all of that, and I think that there is definitely going to be a lot of people that are somewhat upset on that front of things, not because of the fact that the content wasn't ever made, but because there are video topics in there that are pretty important and that I do want to talk about before we go ahead and do things. I think I'm kind of accepting the idea that the stories of Clovis Bray and the stories about the Awoken are going to be long-term series on the channel, where if it's a quieter week and if there's not much going on, I'm going to go ahead and tell those stories and continue those series. That's fine. That's all good. It means that we can insert a little bit of variety here and now every once in a while. So that's cool. We get to go ahead and do that. But also, you know, I do feel as though there are a few topics in there that are worth picking out. And in particular, I do want to see if I can get a video out on Mara Sov and Sieur Ido, because again, that's a very important topic and was hotly requested, so we're going to go ahead and get that done. And on top of that, it's just a topic that has been requested pretty consistently and pretty frequently. I'm going to go ahead and do my best to make sure that we can get a video out there on the penguins, on Europa, which of course is all tied into a lore book all of its own. For those of you that don't know, that is the Micah Abrams lore book, which is a really interesting snapshot of what life on Europa was like for people at the Eventide colony, but also it's told through one of the most interesting perspectives that I think we could possibly imagine, which is the perspective of a child who's had their life kind of uprooted for this purpose. But yeah, it's a really interesting story. It's very much worth covering, so it's something that I'm going to go ahead and sit down and see about covering. Those are the two major points of what I wanted to go ahead and hit. I'm not going to worry too much about the raid videos. Those raids are still around. I know that it's been a long time, and I know that, you know, the Last Wish raid video is probably going to be the next White Whale, but I'm going to go ahead and see about making those when I've got the time and when I've got the energy. All of the energy that I currently have is being expended on two major things, the first of which is, of course, as I said, moving. We've got the new place, we have the keys and everything, and I'll move in over the space of about a week. We've moved in most of our stuff, but, you know, it's things like my workstation and whatnot that has not got there yet. So that's going to be moving a little bit later in the week. If you guys are in that place where you're looking to go ahead and keep up on content on the regular, maybe this means there'll be a little bit of a slowdown next week as we go ahead and get everything set up and we make sure that the internet is all good, but yeah, we will go ahead and make sure that that's okay. I want to have the smallest number of possible breaks between actually getting stuff set up and continuing to deliver content to you. The other thing that I'm spending all of my time on is Dynasty. Those of you who have been keeping track of everything do know that we are vaguely on track. We're still keeping with things, and it's a very busy schedule, and we're getting to that really interesting time as far as production schedules are concerned. The release date for this is sometime within the week before Witch Queen releases. I do not know exactly what day that will be, but I guarantee you it will be there for you, and I will make sure that we have it done. The stuff that we've seen so far come out of the project is fantastic. The number of times we have said the words "people are not ready" is excitement enough alone. We have a lot of stuff that's done, and we have some things that aren't quite finished up yet, so we've got to go ahead and get those things finished out there. But the team has really been working incredibly hard to go ahead and make sure that all of that gets done. At current, as well, that's part of the reason why there's been a slowdown in regular content, because Martin, our editor, yeah, he's actually not doing anything on TSlape, and he's not doing anything on regular content. I'm editing all the regular videos as well as doing anything on my end of Dynasty stuff. He is doing all of the stuff for some of the 2D animations of the art that has been made by Metaworks, aka Ben. And let me tell you, it's a lot of art. We are currently sitting in there, and it's looking like the final count is going to be something like 177 pieces of art, which makes this the biggest project that we've ever done. So that's really exciting, but also it's mildly terrifying. The entire project looks as though it's going to come in at roughly an hour and 45 minutes, so this is nice. It's a movie, hopefully it doesn't overstay its welcome, but it's something which I think you guys are really going to enjoy, and it's going to help get everyone up to speed on the story of the Hive and, of course, of Savathûn. It's going to unravel all of the machinations that we know about, and it's going to help give us all the context that you would need before playing Witch Queen. And also, I hope that you guys are really going to enjoy it just on a pure cinematic level. I mean, this thing is going to look fantastic. We have the animated art, which is being done by Martin, but also we have Reed and Judd, and previously, before he got hired on by Bungie, we had Drexus working on all of the 3D animated stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's been going into that in terms of the pure work ethic of the team. I can't sing their praises enough. They've been really fantastic, and they've been working really hard. So go ahead and leave some love for them in the comments section. But yeah, that's going to be the thing that is taking up the vast majority of my time. That leads up to the question of what's content going to look like between now and the release of Witch Queen. And don't worry, there are still going to be videos coming out on the channel. I'm anticipating that we're going to go ahead and see a lot more content that's just sort of like, you know, covering the basics here and there from whatever may come out of Bungie. So things like trailer analysis videos are very much on the table, but if ever there's something that does drop, if ever there's a sort of interesting mystery because of something that drops as an ARG before Witch Queen, you can expect me to cover that. And of course that does also include the final week of the Season of the Lost. You know, that is integral to the story of Witch Queen, and integral to us finding out what happens for Savathûn, and for Mara Sov, and Osiris, and Saint 14, and Crow, and all of these different characters. So, yeah, you can definitely expect me to be covering that. Content will not be flowing as fast with this run-up period, but I think it's fair to say that by the time we do get to Witch Queen, you can expect daily content again. I will be in a place where I will be able to go ahead and get that done. Martin and I are going to be working in every respect to ensure that everybody has the ability to continue to enjoy the content on the channel, and I'm looking to keep pace with things, so that's going to be very exciting. Dynasty is kind of the white whale right now. And it's a white whale that has existed for 7 years. Slightly personal. I think I spoke about this in the dev diary that we released months ago. That is going to be something which ultimately frees up a lot of time when it's finished, because it has been eating up a lot of time just to get all of the stuff ready and done. So when that's finished, things are going to be very exciting. It should be all good, and I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing where this leads us next. To go ahead and talk a little bit about other content that you guys can expect, TSlape is slowing down for just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and probably resume recording TSlapes when we get to the point at which we've actually got Witch Queen in our hands, and so on day one of Witch Queen, it'll be myself and Barb and probably Cromar. I actually need to talk to them about this, but doing as we usually do, where we play through the campaign and we go ahead and fight against the server errors and try and record a day one campaign playthrough. If that works out, that's great. If not, then maybe you won't see a video on it, but the hope is, of course, that the servers are going to be fine, and we'll see about that. Of course, launch day is always notoriously buggy no matter what online game you're playing, be it Final Fantasy, be it Destiny, be it anything in between. Every single time there are going to be some kind of server issues. So don't worry if you're not able to immediately connect on day one. We're certainly with you in that same boat, and yeah, we're going to try and record that content for you, but it's not totally clear whether that's going to happen or not, so we will see. Following up after that, though, yeah, more TSlape content. You're definitely going to be seeing a lot more out of us, and we're going to try and resume a normal schedule with all of the content there that we might have otherwise missed. There are also a few other things that I wanted to go ahead and point out really quickly, and the first of them was D&D. There are a few of you who've occasionally asked about whether I do a D&D related thing, and now we do. In a dedicated sense, we're doing a D&D campaign with Rare Drop Roleplay. Rare Drop, of course, is the company that includes such wonderful individuals as Professor Broman and K-Magic, aka Kevin. Yeah, wonderful people, and of course, there is Rare Drop Roleplay, which effectively is a bunch of different role-playing campaigns, and I'm in one of them. We are in the Meteorian Core. There is an entire Guardian Con previous year arc that we went through with GCX 2020, and that was one of those moments at which we were able to go ahead and play a 3-shot arc with a bunch of really talented individuals, some of whom are veterans to D&D, some of whom, such as myself, are very much not. And it was so much fun, and there was so much great storytelling to be had, that we decided that we had to continue it. And so now we're doing that. That's going to be every Thursday, with some exceptions made for content and scheduling and whatnot. And yeah, it's really exciting because we get to go ahead and tell these awesome stories on a continual basis. We've been doing this for about 6 weeks now. I'm going to go ahead and leave some links to all of that down below in the description, but if you want to go ahead and catch that every week, that's on twitch.tv/raredrop, and it's on twitch.tv/Captain Robert. Robert being our DM and also one of the player characters within it, because he DMs and is a player character at the same time. Really exciting stuff though, because let me tell you, the entirety of the games that we've played thus far have been a little wild. People have nearly died multiple times. Overall, I'm just really excited for this. This is the kind of break that I get every week from anything to do with work, and it's just purely indulgent enjoyment of D&D. And I'm playing alongside some really talented individuals, and it's just an absolute joy to sit down with them every single week and just see what comes up during the session, because there's a wonderful degree of spontaneity and role-playing that goes into D&D. And yeah, I'm always so excited to sit down at the table with the group, because you know what? It's really incredible to see everyone just pull these amazing moments out of thin air and just present them to the group to storytell. Again, that's Thursdays, Thursday evening UK time, Thursday sort of afternoon if you're in the US, I believe. It starts at 11 PM UK time generally, so if you're looking at something that's over on the East Coast, you're looking at something that's kind of later in the evening. Might be something that you guys want to jump in and join up with. If you do want to go ahead and see it, the hope is that when we get to GCX, we're going to be able to go ahead and do a big old live show. Pending. Don't go ahead and necessarily count on it, but that is very much the plan, and that's very much what we all intend to do. So yeah, I want to go ahead and leave that there. Only pending because I don't know if there's going to be some kind of 28 days later scenario that suddenly destroys the world all over again. Yeah, you know what's going on. I don't need to mention the words that will get me demonetized. I guess the last thing I want to go ahead and talk about is to thank Numbskull. It's been several months and I've not been able to go ahead and get up to it until now because of shenanigans that have been going on and a very busy life, but they sent me quite a bit of stuff. They sent me a baby Fallen, which is absolutely adorable, and of course they also sent along a pair of Shaxx helmets, one of which I am keeping and the other of which I am going to go ahead and try and give away on Twitter. Go ahead and see what happens with all of that. That's going to be real exciting. We'll see about getting that posted off to whoever the winner is, and yeah, it's going to be real cool. Keep an eye on Twitter, and we'll go ahead and we'll have something there for you. It's probably going to be something like a lore question, so get ready to answer lore questions. It'll be the first person who gets the answer correct. Yeah, knowing that the Destiny lore community is really on top of its stuff, it's going to need to be answered very quickly, so yeah. Keep an eye out on that. I'll do that in the next few days, whenever I've got that stuff ready. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in to this little update. I know the content is going to be a little bit different over the next few weeks, but I promise that it's all going to be worth it. When you guys do finally see Dynasty, yeah, you will understand why all of the hard work and all of the slowdown for this particularly slow period of time was worth it. And yeah, that's one last thing I'll go ahead and say. If you want to see more about Dynasty, which I feel like has taken up the topics of half of this devlog, there's going to be a few things I want you to look out for. The first of which is that we are going to do another dev diary, and we're going to check in with all the different team members and talk about some of the creations that they have been coming up with. I think the focus of that one is going to be on something along the lines of gods and monsters and the monster slayers within the universe of Destiny that we're going to be telling the stories of. So some really cool stuff there. You're going to get to see a bit of a behind-the-scenes look at things, and I really hope that it sells just how big the project really is, because honestly, it's bigger than anything that I think I've ever done before on the channel, and it is quite the undertaking. The other thing is that I'm going to go ahead and see about previewing some stuff for Dynasty on various streams. I'll have more information for that later, but it's going to be on the streams of Buddies, I think, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to Shingli and Barb and Chromar and see if they want to go ahead and host any of those on their streams that they're doing from time to time on Twitch. And of course, you know, that's all leading up to the release date, which is going to be sometime in the week before Witch Queen. And of course, that means that we're going to probably be looking at having one last trailer out just before all of that's said and done. But, of course, that's kind of it now. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, and if you want to go ahead and support the channel, you know all the typical stuff to do. Go ahead, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave your own thoughts down below in the comments section, and of course, if you want more stuff, hit the bell next to subscribe. I promise you don't want to miss Dynasty. And you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give everyone this little insight. We finished up one of the scenes recently, in terms of having done the music pass and the audio pass. This is one of the 3D animated scenes. And the excitement within the text chat that we've been using for part of the dev stuff for Dynasty was so excited and so exuberant that I really can't even start to gauge what it was like just sitting there and watching all of this come to life properly for the first time. So if you are excited to hear that kind of story, yeah, hold on about another month and hopefully it'll all be done. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and as per usual, know that your viewership, as always, is quite enough for me, and that in the meantime, my name is Bife. Horodacia Arastra. I'll see you, Starside.